Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Oh, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Oh, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Shila Prabhupada, Shila
Prabhupada,
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Go Hari Bo.
Tagora Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari
Hari Bol, Nitya
Hari
Gaura
Bol.
Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Go Hari Bo.
Nitya Gaura Hari Bol,
Hari Bol,
Hari
Bol,
Nitya Gaura Hari
Bolo Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.
Bolo Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Ki Jai.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Puneet Prabhu. Puneet Prabhu ki jai.
Could you hear okay?
Yes, it was nice. Thank you. So we can start with chanting till 8:15, and then we can go with our Science of Self-Realization book reading. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna, uncle.
हरे कृष्णा कैसे हो सब
Ekdam बढ़िया, uncle. How are you?
गुड थैंक यू यस वी आर गुड
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. All can start reading. Give me a second, please. Stop share. In the meantime, any questions, any comments, or anything anyone would like to talk about from yesterday's session? Okay. So we are reading, and I don't know the chapter yet. Give me a second. I can share. Okay. Can everyone see the screen? So we are
Yes.
still in chapter 1, and now at this point, last Saturday, we were reading the interview or the discussion between Mike Robinson and Srila Prabhupada. So the last paragraph or the last line we read was Srila Prabhupada. So the question was, and we keep coming back as something else the next time. So just to give a quick recap, Srila Prabhupada just explained how the transmigration of soul, it happens, how soul, it goes from one body to other body. That process was described by Srila Prabhupada in a very, very nice way. The process is just like air carrying a fragrance. Nobody can see where this rose fragrance is coming from, but we know that it is being carried by the air. You cannot see how, but it is being done. Similarly, the process of transmigration of the soul is very subtle. According to the condition of the mind at the time of the death, very important point. The next journey of the soul depends on the condition of our mind at the time of death. That's why all our spiritual practices, the whole aim of, the whole intention of practicing spirituality, Krishna consciousness, is for that very last moment of our life. So it's a whole life of preparation for just that moment, so that our consciousness can be fixed on Krishna at the last minute, at the last moment, in fact. And that's why the association of devotees is very important, because in the last moments, we all know our body will not be cooperating with us. So it is only by mercy of devotees, and I can say this with very confidence because I've seen a couple of scenarios where I was personally involved, where devotees, they were helping the soul who's leaving the body and making sure the soul remembers Krishna. They were doing the kirtan, helping the deceased person chanting, putting tulsi leaf in the tongue of the devotee, putting the Ganga Jal, giving the prasadam, keeping the photo of Krishna, Radha Krishna in front of the person. So it's beautiful. When somebody leaves body in the association of devotees, he can be sure that his next destination is going to be perfect. So coming back to this, according to the condition of the mind at the time of death, the minute spirit soul enters into the womb of particular mother, right? The semen of the father. So this is for a material conditioning is all. Then the soul develops a particular type of body given by the mother. Is there an echo? I'm hearing an echo, so just want to make sure everybody else is able to hear it fine. It may be a human being, it may be a cat, a dog, anything. So it all depends on that consciousness at that minute of death. Mike Robinson, are you saying that we were something else before this life? Srila Prabhupada, yes. Mike Robinson. And we keep coming back as something else the next time. Srila Prabhupada, yes, because you are eternal. According to your work, you are simply changing bodies. Therefore, you should want to know how to stop this business. How you can remain in your original spiritual body, that is Krishna consciousness. Very important. What is Krishna consciousness? That we want to know how to stop this business of keep changing the bodies. Coming sometimes in the cat body, dog body, or who knows what body. And then, what is the goal? To remain in our original spiritual body, that is Krishna consciousness. That's the whole purpose of following Krishna consciousness. Okay, so we can start reading one by one. Go ahead. Please do not ask. Just let's keep reading.
Then Mike Robinson says, I see. So if I become Krishna conscious, actually, sorry.
Yeah.
For some reason, I can't see the whole thing.
Let me increase the font.
They're way too.
You can just pinch it.
Yeah. So I see. So if I become Krishna conscious, I wouldn't risk coming back as a dog. Srila Prabhupada says, no. Then to a devotee, he says, find this verse. Janma karma chame devyam. Disciple repeats the verse. Janma karma chame devyam. Evam yoveti tatvata. Tavaktaham deham purna janma. Naiti mameti so arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. O Arjuna. Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Srila Prabhupada then says, God is saying, anyone who understands me is free from birth and death, but one cannot understand God by materialistic speculation. That is not possible. One must first come to the spiritual platform. Then he gets the intelligence required to understand God. And when he understands God, he does not get any more material bodies. He goes back home, back to Godhead. He lives eternally. No more change of body. Mike Robinson then says, I see. Now you've read twice from your scriptures. Where do these scriptures come from? Can you briefly explain that? Srila Prabhupada says, our scriptures are coming from Vedic literature, which has existed from the beginning of creation. Whenever there is some new material creation, like this microphone, for instance, there is also some literature explaining how to deal with it. Isn't that so? Mike Robinson says, yes, that's right, there is. Srila Prabhupada then says, and that literature comes along with the creation of the microphone. Anybody else?
Mike Robinson, that's right, yes. Srila Prabhupada. So similarly, the Vedic literature comes along with the cosmic creation to explain how to deal with it. Mike Robinson, I see. So these scriptures have been in existence since the beginning of creation. Now, if we could move on to something I believe you feel very strongly about. What is the main difference between Krishna consciousness and the other Eastern disciples being taught in the West? The difference is that we are following the original literature and that they are manufacturing their own literature. This is the difference. When there is some question on spiritual matters, you must consult the original literature, not some literature issued by a bogus man. Mike Robinson, what about the chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna? Srila Prabhupada, chanting Hare Krishna is the easiest process by which to become purified, especially in this age when people are so dull that they cannot very easily understand spiritual knowledge. If one chants Hare Krishna, then his intelligence becomes purified and he understands spiritual things.
So let's take a moment here. So very important point, Srila Prabhupada, that is the basis of whole this Hare Krishna movement, right? Chanting Hare Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada is saying it is the easiest process by which one can become purified in this age of Kali Yuga, when people are so dull that they cannot easily understand spiritual knowledge. So let's understand this. Can someone share how chanting Hare Krishna purifies us? Let's participate. That's because this is the whole basis foundation.
Hare Krishna. I think it's because we call out for service when we're chanting the holy name, because the literate meaning of the holy name is that we're calling for service from Krishna and Radharani.
So the question is how it purifies.
First, like your anartha will go away first, and then it will you will be purified.
So just by chanting, anartha will go away, or what is in this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That purifies us. So still, I think I'm looking for a more better answer, a more better understanding for myself and everybody.
Does it
So,
mean, is it that it cleanses your heart when you chant Krishna?
This chanting cleanses your heart. Okay.
I was gonna say when we chant, we're actually asking Krishna to give us more service. So as
Okay,
we
better.
do more service, you know.
Yes,
yeah.
that is in continuation with what we discussed yesterday. I think Surat had the same point. Yeah. So any more answers?
So when
Yeah, go ahead.
so when we are chanting, as Suvrat and Anisha said, we are asking for the service. So by service, when we do service, our heart will be cleansed. So like yesterday, we took the example of like Giriraj Maharaj, like how Prabhupada told him, like he wants to do the seva, like he was telling everybody, like everybody is reading scriptures, Maharaj, I'm not able to read the scriptures, you are sending me out for the books and this temple work. So Prabhupada told him, okay, so you are, if you want to chant, then you have to make your schedule like that, wake up early to finish it, then you can go. So first do your service what you are assigned for. So why I'm trying bringing this point here is that it cleanses his heart. Like first what we have to do is we are asking for service and we have to manage our things.
Okay. So yeah, good answers. Any more answers? All are correct.
Prabhuji, just to add on, I'd read recently in the Perfection of Yoga that it's almost impossible if somebody were to chant meaningfully and with devotion the names of Krishna, because the Harinam, the name of Krishna, is energy personified. So where Krishna is, how can impurities exist? That was the point that I recently read, if that connects with what we were discussing.
So very good point. So the names of Krishna, right? Even one name is so potent, one pure name, if we chant just say Krishna, it has the power, potency to cleanse all our anarthas from millions and billions and uncounted lifetimes. But the problem is that name has to be chanted with purity. So the whole process of chanting of this Hare Krishna is to come to that stage. At some point, we are hoping that at some point we will be able to chant with that purity that is required to cleanse all our anarthas, all our past anarthas. So going back a step, taking a step back. So first of all, this is a mantra. Prabhupada we have to understand when usually what happens when people get something very easily and freely, we don't actually understand the importance of that particular thing. So just because this mantra has been given freely to us doesn't mean that it is not important. It is the Maha Mantra. Any mantra we can take in this in all the scriptures, it is above all those mantras. First of all, we should have that faith in our mind when we are chanting that, and then we will stop taking it, cheaply. So just because we have got this mantra by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and other devotees, doesn't mean that it is just a mundane letters. So very, very important that when we are chanting, whenever we are chanting, that we take a moment, maybe a few seconds, and realize that what we are going to chant right now is a Maha Mantra, the topmost mantra that has been given to us. So if anyone can recall, a couple of weeks back, Anita Mataji shared an article about mantra. What is mantra? It is Mantra is Manah iti trayate, it is mantra. जो मन को तारता है, that delivers our man, that is mantra. So it is not the point I'm trying to make is it is not a mundane group of letters or just some words. It is a mantra, and on top of that, it is Maha Mantra. So my request will be try this approach out whenever we are chanting next time. Just take a few seconds before we chant to just recall that what are we going to do is going to be very auspicious. Topmost thing that we are doing, we're chanting the names of the Lord. And our Acharya says, whenever we are chanting the names of the Lord personally comes and sit on our tongue. He dances on our tongue. So when we chant with that consciousness, it is going to be very, very blissful, and our taste for name will increase. It's not an easy process. I'm talking to myself also. So maybe we can try with, at least for one round today, I will try to have that consciousness with every mantra, every chanting, every beat. I will try to remember that it is Maha Mantra and Krishna is going to dance on my tongue when I'm chanting. So slowly, hopefully, whenever we are chanting, that consciousness will sustain. So maybe we can try with just one round or few beats, and slowly we can control our mind. That is one thing. So just want to make sure whenever we are chanting, we don't take it as a very, very looking for the right word, like not a cheap thing or just an ordinary thing. It is extraordinary thing that we are doing. Number one. Number two, the way it cleanses, that a lot of devotees already expressed, is we are asking for service. So just this mantra will cleanse our mind, and it will attract us towards Krishna in a way where we would like to do more service for Krishna. So it is just not this chanting, but in addition to chanting, the service that will purify us. So we are talking about purifying our mind, body, actions, all the things, right? So that's how it is the whole package, whole process. It will first start with the mind that will create spiritual thoughts for the service of Krishna, and then we will ask for service, and when service comes to us by mercy of Radharani, each and every service, little or small or big, that comes to us, it is only purely by mercy of Radharani. So when that service comes to us, we get engaged in those services, and we remember the verse from Gita, the very popular verse, Ye yatha mam prapadyante. The more desire we will have for the service, the more service we will get, right? It will all depend on our internal heart's desire, what we want. Krishna will reciprocate, Radharani will reciprocate with that. Okay, so we can take probably a whole class on that, but just wanted to emphasize that point, that hopefully tomorrow morning when we chant, or maybe after this session, if somebody is going to chant, let's remember it is Maha Mantra. And topmost mantra for this age. We can take any scriptures. It says Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now, if whoever is reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, they must have observed that whenever Srila Prabhupada mentioned this mantra, he just doesn't write Hare Krishna. Maybe in so many purports, he will write the whole mantra. That is the importance Srila Prabhupada gave to this mantra. He didn't just write casually Hare Krishna mantra, and then went ahead with other meaning of the verse. Whenever he got the opportunity to mention about Hare Krishna, he used to write, or he wrote, whole mantra. So that is the whole sum and boom of this movement. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to me. We can go ahead. Yeah.
Can you tell me how you are guided in what you do? Srila Prabhupada, we take guidance from the Vedic literature. Mike Robinson, from the scriptures you quoted? Srila Prabhupada, yes, it's all in the literature. We're explaining it in English, but we're not manufacturing anything. If we were to manufacture knowledge, then everything would be spoiled. The Vedic literature is something like the literature that explains how to set up this microphone. It says, do it like this. Some of the screws should be on the side, around the middle. You cannot make any change. Then everything would be spoiled. Similarly, because we are not manufacturing anything, one simply has to read one of our books and he receives real spiritual knowledge. Mike Robinson, how can the philosophy of Krishna consciousness affect the way people live? Srila Prabhupada, it can relieve people's suffering. People are suffering because they are misunderstanding themselves to be the body. If you think that you are your coat and shirt and you very carefully wash the coat and shirt, but you forget to eat, will you be happy? Mike Robinson, no, I wouldn't. Srila Prabhupada, similarly, everyone is simply washing the coat and shirt of the body, but forgetting about the soul within the body. They have no information about what is within the coat and shirt of the body. Ask anybody what he is, and he will say, yes, I am an Englishman, or I am an Indian. And if we say, I can see you have an English or an Indian body, but what are you? That he cannot say. Mike Robinson, I see.
Okay, next. So we are reading little fast. So anybody has any questions or would like to get more understanding or add anything, please feel free to jump in. So that the whole idea is to understand. If we see this text, each and every word, every sentence is so much important. So please feel free to ask to stop if we have to get more understanding. Any point anyone would like to make here from what Bhavya read? Okay, we can continue. Next.
Srila Prabhupada, the whole modern civilization is operating on the misunderstanding that the body is a self, Dehatma body. This is the mentality of the cats and dogs. Suppose I try to enter England and you stop me at the border. I am an Englishman. You say, but you are Indian. Why have you come here? And the dog barks. Rau, Rau, why are you coming? So what is the difference in mentality? The dog is thinking he's a dog and I'm a stranger. And you are thinking you are an Englishman and I am an Indian. There's no difference in mentality. So if you keep people in the darkness of a dog's mentality and declare that you are advancing in civilization, you are most misguided. Mike Robinson. Now, moving on to another point, I gather the Hare Krishna movement has some concern for areas of the world where there is suffering. Srila Prabhupada. Yes. Yes, we have the only concern. Others are simply avoiding the main problems, birth, old age, disease. Others have no solution to these problems. They are simply talking all kinds of nonsense. People are being misguided. They are being kept in darkness. Let us start to give them some light. Mike Robinson. Yes, but apart from giving spiritual enlightenment, are you also concerned for people's physical well-being? Srila Prabhupada. Physical well-being automatically follows spiritual well-being. Mike Robinson. And how does that work? Srila Prabhupada. Suppose you have a car, so naturally, you take care of the car as well as yourself, but you don't identify yourself as the car. You don't say, I am this car. That is nonsense. But this is what people are doing. They are taking too much care of the bodily car, thinking that the car is the self. They forget that they are different from the car, that they are a spirit soul and have a different business. Just as no one can drink petrol and be satisfied, no one can be satisfied with bodily activities. One must find out the proper food for the soul. If a man thinks, I am a car and I must drink this petrol, he is considered insane. Similarly, one who thinks that he is this body and who tries to become happy with bodily pleasures is also insane.
Okay, everything makes sense. Anybody have any comments, any questions? See, when we are reading this book, it will feel like this book contains everything we need to know, to be honest. This is such a beautiful book. Okay, if no questions, no comments, we can move.
There is a quote here. Oh. There is a quote here that I'd like you to comment on. I was given this literature by your people before I came, and one of the things you say here is that religion, without a rational basis, is just sentiment. Can you explain that? Srila Prabhupada. Most religious people say, we believe. But what is the value of this belief? You may believe something that is not actually correct. For instance, some of the Christian people say, we believe that animals have no soul. That is not correct. They believe animals have no soul because they want to eat the animals. But actually, animals do have a soul. Mike Robinson, how do you know that the animal has a soul? You can know also. Here's the scientific proof. The animal eats, you eat. The animal sleeps, you sleep. The animal has sex, you have sex. The animal also defends, you also defend. Then what is the difference between you and the animal? How can you say that you have a soul but the animal doesn't? I can see that completely, but Christian scriptures say, don't bring in any scriptures. This is a common sense topic. Try to understand. The animal is eating, you are eating. The animal is sleeping, you are sleeping. The animal is defending, you are defending. The animal is having sex, you are having sex. The animals have children, you have children. They have a living place, you have a living place. If the animal's body is cut, there's blood. If your body is cut, there's blood. So all these similarities are there. Now, why do you deny this one similarity, the presence of the soul? This is not logical. You have studied logic. In logic, there is something called analogy. Analogy means drawing a conclusion by finding many points of similarity. If there are so many points of similarity between human beings and animals, why deny one similarity? That is not logic. That is not science.
Okay. Anyone else who has not read yet?
Mike Robinson. But if you take the argument and use it the other way, Srila Prabhupada, there is no other way. If you are not arguing on the basis of logic, then you are not rational. Mike Robinson, yes, okay, but let's start from another hypothesis. Suppose we assume that a human being has no soul. Srila Prabhupada, then you must explain the difference between a living body and a dead body. I have already explained this at the beginning. As soon as the living force, the soul, is gone from the body, even the most beautiful body has no value. No one cares for it. It's thrown away. But now, if I touch your hair, there will be a fight. That is the distinction between a living body and a dead body. In a living body, the soul is there, and in a dead body, the soul is not there. As soon as the soul leaves the body has no value. It is useless. This is very simple to understand, but even the biggest so-called scientists and philosophers are too dull-headed to understand it. Modern society is in a very abominable condition. There is no man with a real brain. Mike Robinson, are you referring to all the scientists who fail to understand the spiritual dimension in life? Srila Prabhupada, yes. Real science means full knowledge of everything, material and spiritual. Mike Robinson, but you were a chemist in secular life, were you not? Srila Prabhupada, yes, I was a chemist in my earlier life, but it doesn't require any great intelligence to become a chemist. Any common sense man can do it. Mike Robinson. But presumably, you think that material science is also important? Even if today's scientists are dull-headed, Srila Prabhupada. Material science is important just so far. It is not all important.
Okay. Any comments? Is everyone awake? Let's say Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Evil.
Okay. Okay. So it seems like everybody is good with whatever has been discussed here. We can move ahead.
Mike Robinson. I see. Can I come back to a question I had before? When we were deferring a few minutes ago, you were saying, don't bring the scriptures in. Just use common sense. But what part do the scriptures play in your religion? How important are they? Srila Prabhupada. Our religion is science. When we say that a child grows into a boy, it is science. It is not religion. Every child grows into a boy. What is the question of religion? Every man dies. What is the question of religion? And when a man dies, the body becomes useless. What is the question of religion? It is science. Whether you're Christian or Hindu or Muslim, when you die, your body becomes useless. This is science. When your relative dies, you can't say, we are Christian. We believe he has not died. No, he has died. Whether you are Christian or Hindu or Muslim, he has died. So when we speak on this basis, that the body is important only as long as the soul is in the body. When the soul is not there, it is useless. This science is applicable to everyone, and we are trying to educate people on this basis. Mike Robinson, if I understand you correctly, you seem to be educating people on a purely scientific basis. Where does religion come into it all? Srila Prabhupada. Religion also means science. People have wrongly taken religion to mean faith. I believe. To a devotee. Look up the word religion in the dictionary.
Okay. Anyone else would like to read the meaning of religion?
I can. Under religion, the dictionary says recognition of superhuman control of power and especially of a personal God entitled to obedience and affecting such recognition with the proper mental attitude. Yes, religion means learning how to obey the supreme controller. So you may be Christian and I may be Hindu. It doesn't matter. We must both accept that there is a supreme controller. Everyone has to accept that. That is real religion. Not this, we believe animals have no soul. That is not religion. That is most unscientific. Religion means scientific understanding of the supreme controller. To understand the supreme controller and obey him. That's all. In the state, the good citizen is he who understands the government and obeys the laws of the government. And the bad citizen is the one who doesn't care for the government. So if you become a bad citizen by ignoring God's government, then you are irreligious. And if you are a good citizen, then you are religious. Mike Robinson, I see. Can you tell me what you believe to be the meaning of life? Why do we exist in the first place? The meaning of life is to enjoy, but now you are on a false platform of life, and therefore you are suffering instead of enjoying. Everywhere we see the struggle for existence. Everyone is struggling, but what is their enjoyment in the end? They are simply suffering and dying. Therefore, although life means enjoyment, at the present moment your life is not enjoyment. But if you come to the real spiritual platform of life, then you'll enjoy.
Okay. Thank you, Ash. So very important to let's revisit the meaning of religion. What is the meaning of religion? It means understanding the scientific understanding of the Supreme Controller. And to understand Supreme Controller and obey him. All the points that we discussed in yesterday's Bhagavad Gita session. That's what we are trying to do. We know who is the Supreme Controller, and we are trying to understand him and obey his instructions that are coming to us through the parampara, right? So Guru Parampara is what? It is our GPS. What is GPS? Full form of GPS? That we use in the cars?
It's like geographical
Global positioning
Global positioning system,
Oh,
right?
never mind.
And for Hare Krishna people, GPS means G, Guru, P, Parampara, S, system. So Guru Parampara system is our GPS. Just like the GPS in our car, in our vehicle guides us to the destination. This GPS, the Guru Parampara system guides us to our destination in spiritual life. Okay? Always remember that GPS. Very, very important to follow this GPS. Okay, and the other point that I liked here was, of course, the meaning of life is to enjoy, right? Nobody is denying that. In getting involved in the spiritual life or following the spiritual practices, in no way, like a lot of materialistic people, they think, oh, how much these guys are suffering. They are not having any fun, no enjoyment. But come to the Hare Krishna world and you'll know how much fun everybody has here. How much bliss, in just not enjoyment. It is enjoyment plus bliss. Right? It's nothing that we are not doing as Hare Krishna devotees. So, because that is so the idea is not to compete. The idea is that the inherent nature of the soul is to enjoy, to look for happiness, right? So it's just when we start following, just as I mentioned, GPS, the system, proper system, then we start getting that bliss. Okay. So because everyone is looking for happiness. Okay. Anything else anyone would like to bring up or talk about here before we move forward? I hope everybody is still here. Okay, so anyone who can read next question and answer who has not read yet from here, the highlighted section.
Mike Robinson, can you explain to me finally some of the stages you go through in spiritual life? What are the spiritual stages a new devotee of Krishna goes through? Srila Prabhupada. The first stage is that you are inquisitive. So you say, what is this? Prabhuji, can you scroll a little bit?
Okay, scroll down, Mataji.
Yeah, scroll down.
Oh, image are you okay?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you say, what is this Krishna consciousness movement? Let me study it. This is called Shraddha or faith. This is the beginning. Then if you are serious, you mix with those who are cultivating this knowledge. You try to understand how they are feeling. Then you will feel, why not become one of them? And when you become one of them, then all your misgivings soon go away. You become more faithful, and then you get a real taste for Krishna consciousness. Why are not these boys going to see the cinema? Why don't they eat meat or go to the nightclub? Because their taste has changed. They hate all these things now. In this way, you make progress. First faith, then association with devotees, then removal of all misgivings, then for faith, then taste, then God realization, and then love of God, the perfection. That is the first class religion, not some ritualistic ceremony of I believe, you believe. That is not religion. That is cheating. Real religion means to develop your love for God. That is the perfection of religion.
Very nice. So this is very important. See, Srila Prabhupada, in this paragraph, he has given the highest philosophy in such simple words. We really need to revisit this. So, in Srila Rupa Goswami, first of all, what is the first stage? So, it is a totally scientific process. Krishna consciousness is or spirituality is a scientific process. What is the first stage Srila Prabhupada is mentioning? Inquisitive. Aham Brahma, Atho Brahma Jigyasu. Right? That is the first stage. Unless somebody feels who I am or starts wondering who I am, why I'm here, why there's so much suffering, why the pleasures of life are temporary, why I can't have happiness all the time. Who is God? Why is somebody controlling everything? Those kind of jigyasa, inquisitiveness is not there. And until then, we cannot enter the spiritual realm. So the first stage is being inquisitive. Okay, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Okay, and then yes, faith. Right. As soon as we start questioning these things, then the whole process starts. And what is the process? Srila Rupa Goswami has mentioned in Nectar of Devotion. Ado Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sang. Sango Atha Bhajan Kriya. Tato Anarth Nivritti Shyat. Tato Nisht Ruchis Tathati. Okay. The meaning of that verse is all here. The first step is faith. It all starts with faith. Just like in any scientific experiment, first there is an assumption, right? For any theorem or any experiment, there is an assumption. And we, as scientific students or science students, we trust that, okay, we have to prove this theorem or this scenario. So that faith. Once we have faith, the second step is we start associating sadhu sangha, just like we are doing right now, because we have developed a faith in the process that in the process of Krishna consciousness. And now, as we are getting more and more serious, we are mixing with devotees or with the like-minded devotees, okay, who are interested in cultivating this knowledge, this understanding. And we try to understand how they are feeling, and then we will feel the same way. And we will get more encouraged. Why not become one of them? They're having so much happiness, so much bliss, so much understanding. Okay. Then what happens? Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, and then our anarthas goes away slowly and slowly. Okay. We become even more faithful. So initially we don't have full faith, that is fine. With Sadhu Sangha and simultaneously getting rid of our anarthas, we become more faithful and we start getting the real taste for Krishna consciousness. That is Ruchi. We start getting Ruchi, more attraction towards Krishna. Okay. And then that Ruchi will fix our fame, will fix our faith, Nishtha. Okay, that faith will get converted into firm faith, which is called as Nishtha. Then more taste and then realization. So long way to go, but that is the whole process. So the easiest process given to us is chanting the Hare Krishna and Sadhu Sangha and service, and then all these stages will come slowly and slowly. Okay, that is first class religion, all scientific. Not just my opinion, what I think, I believe so, I will do like this. Nothing, no nonsense. Everything, all the steps are mentioned here. Okay. Mike Robinson, thank you very much for talking with me. It has been a pleasure talking to you. Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. So we completed the one section. We can go ahead with truth and beauty for next 15 minutes. Anyone who has not read so far? Or before we, if anyone want to have any question, so there is a chat option also. If anybody would like to chat any question or any point, if not comfortable speaking, then they can do so also. Or the best way will be to ask the question or make your point here. Otherwise, we can move forward. Okay. Let's go to the next section.
Truth and beauty. Beauty is truth, beauty, said Keats. That is all you know on earth and all you need to know. Or is it? In this charming yet cutting essay, which first appeared in the old tabloid version of Back to Godhead, November 20th, 1958, Srila Prabhupada tells the unforgettable story of liquid beauty. There may sometimes be arguments about whether truth and beauty are compatible terms. One would willingly agree to express the truth. One might say, but since truth is not always beautiful, indeed it is frequently rather startling and unpleasant. How is one to express truth and beauty at the same time? In reply, we may inform all concerned that truth and beauty are comparable terms. Indeed, we may empathetically assert that the actual truth, which is absolute, is always beautiful. The truth is so beautiful that it attracts everyone, including the truth itself. Truth is so beautiful that many sages, saints, and devotees have left everything for the sake of truth. Mahatma Gandhi, an idol of the modern world, dedicated his life to experimenting with truth, and all his activities were aimed toward truth only. Why only Mahatma Gandhi? Every one of us has the urge to search for truth alone, for the truth is not only beautiful, but also all powerful, all resourceful, all famous, all renounced, and all knowledgeable. Unfortunately, people have no information of the actual truth. Indeed, 99.9% of men in all walks of life are pursuing untruth only. In the name of truth, we are actually attracted by the beauty of truth. But since time immemorial, we have been habituated to love of untruth appearing like truth. Therefore, to the mundane, truth and beauty are incompatible terms. The mundane truth and beauty may be explained as follows. Once a man who was very powerful and strongly built, but whose character was very doubtful, fell in love with a beautiful girl. The girl was not only beautiful in appearance, but also saintly in character, and as such, she did not like the man's advances. The man, however, was insistent because of his lustful desires, and therefore the girl requested him to wait only 7 days, and she set a time after that when he would meet her. The man agreed, and with high expectations, he began waiting for the appointed time. The saintly girl, however, in order to manifest the real beauty of absolute truth, adopted a method very instructive. She took very strong doses of laxatives and purgatives, and for 7 days she continually passed loose stool and vomited all that she ate. Moreover, she stored all the loose stool and vomit in suitable pots. As a result of the purgatives, the so-called beautiful girl became lean and thin like a skeleton. Her complexion turned blackish, and her beautiful eyes sank into sockets of her skull. Thus, at the appointed hour, she waited anxiously to receive the eager man. The man appeared on the scene, well dressed and well behaved, and asked the ugly girl he found waiting there about the beautiful girl he was to meet. The man could not recognize the girl he saw as the same beautiful girl for, for whom he was asking. Indeed, although she repeatedly asserted her identity, because of her pitiable condition, he was unable to recognize her. At last, the girl told the powerful man that she had separated the ingredients of her beauty and stored them in the pots. She also told him that he could enjoy those juices of beauty. When the mundane poetic man asked to see these juices of beauty, he was directed to the store of loose stool and liquid vomit, which were emitting an unbearably bad smell. Thus, the whole story of the beauty liquid was disclosed to him. Finally, by the grace of the saintly girl, this man of low character was able to distinguish between the shadow and substance, and thus he came to his senses. This man's position was similar to the position of every one of us who is attracted by false material beauty. The girl mentioned above had a beautifully developed material body in accordance with the desires of her mind, but in fact, she was apart from that temporary material body and mind. She was in fact a spiritual spark, and so also was the lover who was attracted her false skin. Mundane intellectuals and atheists, however, are deluded by the outward beauty and attraction of the relative truth and are unaware of the spiritual spark, which is both truth and beauty at the same time. The spiritual spark is so beautiful that when it leaves the so-called beautiful body, which is fact, is full of stool and vomit. No one wants to touch that body, even if it decorated with the costly costume. We are all pursuing a false relative truth, which is incompatible with real beauty. The actual truth, however, is permanently beautiful, remaining the same standard of beauty for innumerable years. That spiritual spark is indestructible. The beauty of the outer skin can be destroyed in only a few hours merely by a dose of a strong purgative. But the beauty of truth is indestructible and always the same. Unfortunately, mundane artists and intellectuals are ignorant of this beautiful spark of spirit. They are also ignorant of the whole fire, which is the source of these spiritual sparks. And they are ignorant of the relationships between the sparks and the fire, which take the form of transcendental pastimes. When those pastimes are displayed here by the grace of the Almighty, foolish people who cannot see beyond their senses confuses those pastimes of truth and beauty with the manifestation of loose stool and vomit described above. Thus, in despair, they ask how truth and beauty can be accommodated at the same time. Mundanes do not know that the whole spiritual entity is the beautiful person who attracts everything. They are unaware that he is the prime substance, the prime source and fountainhead of everything that be. The infinitesimal spiritual sparks, being parts and parcels of that whole spirit, are qualitatively the same in beauty and eternity. The only difference is that the whole is eternally the whole and the parts are eternally the parts. Both of them, however, are the ultimate truth, ultimate beauty, ultimate knowledge, ultimate energy, ultimate renunciation, and ultimate opulence. Although written by the greatest mundane poet or intellectual, any literature that does not describe the ultimate truth and beauty is but a store of loose stool and vomit of the relative truth. Real literature is the which describes the ultimate truth and beauty of the absolute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I think it is pretty straightforward, right? How Srila Prabhupada has explained what beauty means. Um, so that is the truth, right, of this body. It is filled with all the smelly and bad fluids, and we all know that. I don't need to explain that. So we should always, it's just because of illusion and our desires and lust, we forget about the truth. And this is the real truth of this material body. But originally, we are part and parcel of Krishna himself. So same in quality of the beauty, maybe quantity is less, but originally our spirit, we as spirit souls are beautiful, eternally. Not like the beauty of the false beauty of this body. Okay, any questions, any clarifications, any additions, please participate so that we can make it more understandable for everybody. So if any questions, any additions, anything you might have liked in the whatever we have read so far, please feel free to share also, just to stress on that.
Hare Krishna. I like it was not in this like subtitle we just read, but in the last one where Srila Prabhupada took a lot of time to explain how the soul is humans and animals both have souls. Like the Mike Robinson kept arguing, like, how do you know that animals have souls? So I found that very interesting because it was very logical when you hear the explanation from Srila Prabhupada. There's many similarities between humans and animals, so I found that very interesting.
Yeah, we humans are also animals, right? Okay, anyone else would like to share anything? So we have 4 minutes more. So instead of going ahead, I think we can take a break here and then discuss anything anyone would like to add. Or maybe each one of us can say one important point that we might have learned today.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes,
there was one point that we mentioned, I think, in the previous chapter, where Srila Prabhupada talks about how religion is not simply a faith or faithful path, it's a science. And that reminded me of one famous quote that he always used to recite, that religion, I think it goes, religion without philosophy is, I think, sentimentalism. And philosophy without religion is speculation. So that reminded me of that.
Can you please repeat that, because I wanted to cover that. So thank you for talking about it. Please repeat that. It's very important.
Yes, it was religion without philosophy is sentimentalism, and philosophy without religion is speculation.
Okay, very, very, very nice point. I hope everyone heard that. Religion without philosophy is sentimentalism. It's just sentiments. And philosophy without religion is speculation. So both should go together. Again, the Gyan and Vigyan, same thing. Anyone else would like to share what you might have liked today or learned today? Hari Bol. Dash, anything you want to add? Ansh, Molly, Amesh, Govind is also there, I think. Bhavya, Puneet
I think
Prabhu.
the interesting part was about when they talked about the soul of the animal and like how they describe like the animal, what happens, and just information about that.
Okay, thank you. Smita aunty. You're listening very carefully, I can see.
I'm listening. I like to make a point of the faithful association with the devotees that we just read. More faithful with the devotees and love of God with the perfection.
Great, very nice point. Thank you, Auntie. Yes, very important. Faith and sadhu sangha are the two foundations on which the spiritual life builds, and we advance. So, right association and firm faith is very, very important.
And real religion means to develop your love of God. Oh,
yes.
That is the perfection of religion. Hari
Okay.
Bol.
Hari Bol. So last call, if anyone would like to say anything. Was it useful? At least everybody can say yes.
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 Yep.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
And probably one thing you told GPS that Guru Parampara system guide us to grow in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
That I liked it.
Yeah, this is very important. Thank you. Thank you for repeating that. And also the importance of chanting Harinam, right? Always remember Maha Mantra, very, very topmost thing, topmost spiritual activity we are doing when we are chanting. And Krishna himself comes because his names are non-different from Krishna. So very, very important to remember these three things. Okay, then if nothing else, we can stop here. And I will request Akhilesh Prabhu if he can lead us with the Narsinga prayer. And let's pray for everybody. We are seeing so many, bad news, and things are not improving at all. So let's pray for everybody, for each other, for our families back in India, and for the entire humanity, because this is one of those situations where we have to pray for everybody, right? So let's pray deeply and sincerely for everybody. Akhilesh Prabhu, you there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. We can start whenever you are ready.
Okay. I'm going to start with the Nrsimha mantra and then go into Nrsimha Arti.
Sure, Prabhu. Sure. You want me to bring up Nrsimha mantra?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. Or if you want to share, I think you should be able to share. I'm not sure. Let me see.
You can just type in on Google.
Yeah.
Vishnu. Yeah, it's there.
Okay, let me see. I think you should be able to make it bigger here.
Just pinch it, then it will be bigger.
Yep, here you go.
Ready?
Yep.
Gram
Viram Mahavishnu Viram
Mahavishnu
Viram Mahavishnu
Ugram Viram Mahavishnu
Bhavantam Sarvatam Mukham
Jvalantam Sarvatokam
Bhavantam Sarvatam Mukham Lingam Vishanam Badram
Narsingham Vishanam Bhadram
Lingam Vishanam Badram
Narsingham Vishanam Bhadram
Mrityurnamamyaham
Mrityurnamamyaham.
Shri Narsimha Jai Narsimha Jai Jai Narsimha Shri Narsimha
Narsinga Jai Narsinga Jai Narsinga
Papa can come for the Narsimha tea.
Jai Narsimha Shri
Shri Narsimha Jai Narsimha Jai Shri Narsimha
Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa Pramadesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa Pramadesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa
Desha Janma Karma
Nrsingadev Jaya Nrsingadev Jaya Nrsingadev Jaya Nrsingadev
Jaya Narsimha Dev Jaya Narsimha Dev Narsimha Dev Jaya Narsimha Dev
Namaste Narasingaya
Namaste
Narasimhaya.
Lata Lata Ayini Anya Kashipur Vakshaha Shilatankani Kalaye Narsingo Parato Narsingo
Ito Narsimho Bharato Narsimho
Atoya Toyami Tato Narsingo
Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimho Okay.
Bahe Narsingo Narsingo
Ahe Narsimho
Narsimho.
Namadim Sharanam Prapade
Narasimho Nadim Sharanam
Prapade.
Karakamana Vare Amakuta Shinga Kavita Hiranya Kashipu Nano Bringa Shabadika Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare
Buddha Shringam Lalita Hiranyakashipu Hari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare
Jaya Narsingadev,
Nrsimhadev Jaya Nrsimhadev Jaya Nrsimhadev
Prahlad
Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj
Prabhupada Shila, Prabhupada Shila, Prabhupada Shila, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Hari Bol, Nitai Gora, Hari Bol,
Nitai Gora Hari
Hari Bol, Nitai Gora,
Hari
Jai.
Thank you so much. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Okay. Anything else anyone would like to say before we end today's session? Stay safe and take care. Be in isolation, I think, for a few more weeks. Thank you, Puneet. Hari Bol. Thank you, Ansh. Thank you, Uncle. Thank you, Vishakha. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, everyone. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Ram.
Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Hare.
Panchakalpatarurvyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyeva
Patitanam Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Vishnu Bhakti Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.